Welcome to SerialPodcastNine.
I can see this is going to be another episode where Gerard looks at cars the whole time. Hey, how about we do the intro?
Do it. Hello, this is Kevin from SerialNine.
And this is Gerard from SerialNine.
And this is Ryan from not SerialNine. And this is SerialPodcastNine.
You're definitely from SerialNine.
Oh, I am.
You're as much SerialNine as they come.
That's not true.
I think it is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a nice thought. But I don't know if I can pull off that new hoodie. I think that's what it takes to be SerialNine.
Yeah.
It's being able to stand on the hood of your car and wear that hoodie is.
Well, I mean, I was trying to be a real hot boy there. I feel like I'm not one to stand on the car too often.
Right.
I mean, when your hood looks like that.
But that's the thing. My hood is exactly. Like my car's to the point now where I mean,
realistically, you probably started that trend considering there's a picture of you with a fucking lawn chair on your roof like 10 years ago or 12 years ago or something.
It's true.
That is your profile photo.
I don't think that's. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have done that.
You don't certainly anything. You never wear a shirt on the podcast.
But I feel that also like that car was at that level where it was like, all right, it doesn't really matter so much, you know.
The rest of the people didn't get the memo. They just do it on brand new cars and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe stand right where the hood meets the fender. It's probably strong enough.
I mean, I've tried it on shitty cars and it's still bent the fender, and I was like, certainly not doing this on my nice car, like on the roof where you stand in the very corner where the pillar meets.
Yeah,
still kind of was like bending, and I'm like, no, not doing that.
I feel like that comes from like race car drivers, though. You know what I mean? That's a common thing for them to do. Would be like run up and stand on the roof of their car, right? So that they're like bigger and more prominent to the crowd, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah, man.
Audi TT, $1,400.
$1,400.
Yeah, 2-liter turbo Audi TT.
That's hilarious.
That's like pretty crazy, isn't it?
I mean, that is fully crazy to me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then
you were talking about like going on B4 today. So then earlier today, I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna go on B4. So then I went on for a bit, and was looking at some stuff, and it was like, yeah, that like GX81 I want to buy is like $7,000.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Is I was looking at cars and it's like you can buy a Toyota like
you can't buy a Toyota sedan like it's for less than $5,000. It's landed. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, you can. But they're going to be a GX.
I mean, that's what I.
You mean $5,000 Canadian?
Yeah.
I mean, we just bought one and it was definitely less than $5,000 Canadian.
Yeah, I'm also not looking at those cars, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I mean. It's none of the cars I want, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Kevin, is the Crown the newest you would go for a car? No, you'd go to the next generation Crown as well, right?
Yeah, the 20 Crown is so sweet.
And then after that, is that like your cutoff? What's your cutoff for new cars? Do you have one? Did I make this up? Is that imposed?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a cutoff. I feel like I'm not Gerard though. I'm behind the curve or whatever. I don't know. I'm riding the back of the wave or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not avant-garde.
No.
I'm just on guard, you know?
A real musketeer.
For things that are different and thus scary, you know?
Yeah. But, like on the cusp. You're on the perimeters of the things.
I feel like I'd be even further back if I wasn't so close to Gerard, you know? Like Gerard's I'm so around Gerard all the time that he's just like always forcing these ideas that I don't agree with upon me that like eventually I do agree with them, you know?
Yeah. That's the Gerard effect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is what it is, but like, yeah, I also feel that like, you know, like I said, it's kind of pulled me a lot forward than I feel like I would have been. I'd still be driving like TEs and A86s.
Yeah.
And maybe
that'd be pretty cool.
No, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing, but like, also those cars didn't have a place in our business, though, you know?
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, they could, but it's tough.
Yeah, they could. You know, at this point, they could too. But
yeah, you could be whatever you want to be.
We've carved out a niche, and it's not quite that.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, what's shit.
Your niche? Oh, Jesus, Gerard.
Sorry.
I would say inline 6 turbo Toyota sedans is the niche.
Yeah, but then the Crown The new Crown isn't that.
No, but I mean, it's a V6 Toyota sedan.
Speaking of V6s, I just realized that the Mark X came in a 300G. I guess that's the top model, would be the 3GR, not the 4GR. Because all of them, I know it doesn't come with the 2GR. It never came with the 2GR, but I guess the top model is the 3GR.
Which makes perfect sense.
Which is one we were actually looking at, which realistically, I probably would have bought the 3GR instead of like the nicer Aero and shit. Maybe not. This one has coilovers and wheels and a 3GR. Anyways, just interesting because I totally thought it was only the 250 was the max.
It seems weird that they'd have it in previous generations and then get rid of it though, especially when that car is supposed to be like the most sporting.
What do you mean?
Because that car is like the Mark X lineage, not the not Crown lineage.
So well, in the next,
it's supposed to be the most sporting of the cars.
In the next gen, they have the 2GR FSE, the nice engine, but just for some reason in this first gen Mark X, they only had the like shit motors. Not shit, but they never had the top line one.
Shit motor.
Whereas like the Crown and the 3GS and stuff have the good motor.
Do you feel like we've arrived at this talking point and it makes sense to people why we're talking about it?
I don't know, but I might buy this van.
Oh,
Ryan,
God.
How long is your Hawaii trip?
1 week.
1 week only.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Well, Gerard's going for 10 days plus, so he's better than you, Ryan.
No, I'm just saying.
You're only going for 1 week.
How many people are going?
You're a peasant.
5 of us.
How many stars is your hotel?
Well, we got.
Do you have window seats?
Wow.
Oh, maybe.
Window seats.
Maybe
rental property.
Seats.
We got
a rental property. Oh, is it a Verbo or is it a?
No, it's still like
urban.
I don't know. It's like through
an actual. Did you say urban? I said Verbo.
I know, and then I said urban.
Oh, urban.
No, it's by an actual. It's like by a company, but I don't know. Anyway, we bought a credit off of.
It wasn't you were doing
friends. No.
Oh, friend credit.
Yeah, they bought some people that we know. Were booking for Hawaii, and then they ended up not going because of the pandemic, and they got a credit, and they're like, "Well, we're not going now, and we're not going to use it." So we bought this credit off of them for half price, and it was good for all these different types of properties.
That sounds cool.
So then we found a place with 3 bedrooms, and then my parents are coming, and we're going to Kauai.
Yeah, bro, Kauai.
Yes, Gerard. I'm not going to have the same conversation with you that I had last time. I already know. You go to G's Juice Bar or whatever. Yeah, we've already had it.
But you also have to go to the beach at the very top.
Yeah.
There's a beach at the top?
Yeah, it's like an island. There's
normally it's
a really cool beach.
Over the place.
You pass the like nuclear fucking reactor.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the racetrack.
Ooh. There's a racetrack. Good.
There's a really cool road that you should drive, though. It's a really cool road on the mountain, and it's like pretty gnarly.
Do you have a vehicle?
Yeah, we're trying to rent one right today. We're just waiting for the stuff to go through.
The confirmation.
What are you renting, bro?
Probably just like
a Prius,
standard size SUV.
So you can take the whole family.
Yeah, it was either that or a full size sedan.
I ended up with like a Frontier. Because it had 5 seats and the back. I ended up with a Frontier.
You love it. You love Frontiers.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. I loved it. It ripped.
Yeah.
In Arizona, we had a 2022 Highlander.
Ooh, nice.
It was pretty chill. Yeah, I mean,
those are sweet.
I was trying to imagine the whole time. I was like, all right, so I sell the Dyna and I get this. Am I happy? You know,
I mean, I don't know. That's like doesn't really do the same thing, but
I know. But I mean, it feels like
it does move
practical answer to the situation, like that the issue of going down to FSR, if you will. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a Highlander is like borderline FSR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you need what's the next thing? A 4Runner, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't they the same? Like, it's just like less trim level, or is it a completely
No.
different?
Highlander,
it's like a Camry.
Highlander is
okay.
a jacked up Camry.
Okay.
So it's like a front wheel drive base.
I assumed it was sort of like the Lexus Land Cruiser style thing, where it's just like the same underpinnings, just like more accoutrement on the top.
No, because you can get a hybrid Highlander, which is
I did know that. Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. And actually, one of the first
because this one had all the stupid shit that my mom's SUV does too, where it's like it turns off at the stoplights and it like pulls you back for like onto the road if you go off.
That's all standard, dude. Any 2020 up Toyota has that whole safety suite. Even our peasant ass fucking.
Well, the craziest thing to me was that like it was really, really aggressive on the shoulder.
Hated it.
But no, not aggressive at all on the center line.
Hated it. Fucking I hate it. We always turn it off.
Dude, I hate it too. And then the like turns off at the stoplight or you don't have to hold your foot on the brake.
That's cool,
at the stoplight. I hate that too.
Why do you hate that?
I don't know, it's just so weird. Like,
the turning off, I hate. I turn it off on this.
Why do you hate that?
Because
he hates the environment.
No, because it's disruptive. It's not peaceful. It's not zen. Like you know,
shouldn't it be more zen? It's turned off. There's no noise at all.
No, because it gives me anxiety, man. Because if I need to go,
that's how I feel about the brake pedal.
No.
Yeah, like why is the car not moving if I don't have my foot's not on the brake? Why isn't the car not moving?
Because it has an electric parking brake and it just applies it gently to hold the car.
Okay, so the car just turns itself off and like
right, but the action of turning on an engine is definitely takes some time. And if I'm making a left turn and I need to fucking make that gap, I sure as fuck don't want the engine not to be on. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. It's like, don't fucking turn my engine off. The engine needs to be on all the time.
I mean, I feel the same way about the brake pedal, where it's just like, don't take my control away from me.
I mean, I guess, but literally it's like you holding it with the e-brake versus the foot brake. It's the exact same fucking thing.
But you're not holding it with the e-brake.
You totally are.
Oh man.
You don't drive an auto, though, right? You never drive an auto. So like, you know what I mean?
I mean, the 18's an auto.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Le touche. Oh man, we don't like people taking control away from us.
At first, I was kind of like, this weird brake thing, but like, I was worried that it had to take some time. I don't know how it is on the Highlander, but on the Odyssey, it works beautifully because it's not like the brake is clamped and then you have to like you know how when you hold it with like the handbrake. So like, let's say you want to go, you still have to like press the button and then put the handle down. So there's that millisecond of like, okay, like you kind of have to like time it. Whereas like this one, literally the second you like breathe on the gas pedal, it's like going already. So I'm like, oh, like this is fine. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, if it was like had to release something and then there was like a millisecond delay from like the braking aspect to the going aspect, I wouldn't like it either. But it works really good on the Odyssey.
So you're saying I can drive a new vehicle and when I'm at a complete stop, I can take my foot off the brake?
Man. Yeah.
I don't like that. That's stupid.
I know. I agree.
You haven't done it though.
It's making people like complacent and not know that they have to do that and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing that
says the guy who doesn't drive 2 hours a day in traffic. It definitely is useful.
Yeah, but you don't use it 2 hours a day in traffic.
You don't use it ever. You don't have it.
Sure as fuck would if I had it.
You don't have a car that has it because you don't want a car that has those things.
That's not true. I don't want to spend $50,000 on a car. If I could have that, I would.
You don't want to change the X100?
You're about to have a $50,000 car.
What are you talking about?
The JZX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other JZX is almost worth $50,000.
But that's a vastly different car. And
it is, but you could sell that car and have a $50,000 car that brakes for you and you could drive it to and from work.
You'd be so happy.
Look, man, if I can trade my JZX 110 for the new M3 Touring or something to that effect, 100% I would do it. 100%.
You're kind of. Why did you get quiet?
Yeah, well, you got really quiet when you snapped. I guess because it probably muted you down.
It probably clipped the mic, and then
it probably cutted you down.
Yeah,
just like them brakes.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like.
I will say though, like one thing I noticed is like driving down the highway or whatever, meandering side streets, and I'm like looking out the window at all the scenery. There were a couple of times where like the car, all of a sudden I felt the car pulling me back, and I like look, and I'm like, oh shit, I was I was going off the side of the road a tiny bit there. Like,
the difference.
It did feel like I didn't have to pay nearly as much attention to what I was doing. Just like la 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 la, and it would just be like, oh, there you go. Like, there's the road for you. Like,
I don't know how I feel about that either. Hey, here's a funny thing about the Highlander. The first time we ever went to the John B for lunch, I think Gerard said his next vehicle was going to be a Highlander, and it never was.
Yeah, because she bought the Odyssey or whatever instead.
That was years ago, and
maybe it was a Sienna.
That was my first.
Yeah, that was a long. I swear that was in the 90 Prado.
That long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove did we go in dust? No.
That's, I think, I swear it's Gerard's 90 Prado.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
No, that's like ancient times, man.
It was ancient times.
I had the 4Runner, though, because I remember Gerard being like, why'd you get the 4Runner? And I started telling him, and then he didn't listen to me.
Probably had the Pajero, then not the Prado.
I didn't care. But now that I look back, that was my first time I had ever encountered Gerard's flavor of the week type thing, you know? And I was like, oh, yeah, the Highlander. Like, Gerard's
He's definitely going to buy one. And then you're
never came up again. Yeah. Now that I've talked to him for 100+ hours, it's like, oh, this is what happens. I see now.
You know, it's closer to like 6,000 hours, right?
Is it?
If each episode's 90 minutes and there's a bunch that are longer than that, and there's like 56 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I said hours. Is it? I just figured 2.
It's like, yes, 6,000 minutes. So I guess,
I said hours. I said over 100 hours. I thought
hours. I think you're.
And then there's the times that we
talk. So then they're both about right.
Yeah, and then there's the times that we talk not on the podcast.
Ooh, not on the podcast.
I don't even know how much. Hey, should we ask a question or just keep talking about rental cars?
I think we should just keep talking about rental cars and let it go where it goes, and then when it fizzles out into nothing.
Well, our previous fucking Sienna was a rental car, and that was fucking great. Oh, yeah, so what I was going to say is the difference between the Toyota sort of management safety suite versus the Honda one. Is the Honda's kind of sick. So one thing that I absolutely fucking hated about Toyota, or Acura's as well, you take your seatbelt off, it loses its fucking mind. You cannot turn it off. Incessantly, it's just beeping. It's like, put your seatbelt on. You're going to fucking die. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm a grown adult. I can take my seatbelt off like when I'm driving 20K or like 30K or for any fucking time. You know what I mean? But like, on the Honda, it's just
like get the clip thing that just goes in.
No, it's stupid. But like, I sometimes
it's got the Punisher logo on it, and it's a bottle opener.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Sometimes I take it Christmas off so you stop whining.
Before I get home, like I don't know, just like on my street, I like take it off in it. I don't know. It's just a move I do. I take it off in advance, like before.
I feel like I'm like a late putter on her. Like I'll go through the whole parking lot, and then like I want to be able to like see and move and like and then the minute you go over 20K, it's like beep 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 beep.
Yeah,
like,
whatever the reason. Sometimes I drive to Safeway in my hood. I don't want to wear my seatbelt. Sorry, like maybe I'm living on the edge.
These are such dumb acts of rebellion.
Anyways, the Honda's like, hey, your seatbelt's off. It says press enter to dismiss. I fucking dismiss it. It doesn't ask me anymore. It doesn't beep. It doesn't do shit.
It's Honda doesn't care about you,
right? So then the other thing.
I don't care about me.
So the Toyota. Remember when you said like it's super aggressive when it's like the lanes and shit, like the whatever lane keep assist.
Yeah, but not the fucking center lane, which to me is like I don't care if I go off the side that way, but if I go off into the
if you go off the side, buddy, you're dying. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you cross the lane and you hit a semi, you're definitely dying. You go off the side of the road. No. Just like
it's the dotted lines. It's not that good at, but there's solid
nothing but like desert. You could go off forever. Like
anyway, so on the Honda, it's all adjustable. So you can set it, and how we have it set is actually it just kind of like wiggles the steering wheel. It's like, hey, like you there, bro? It's like it's kind of like it just gives you a little wiggle, like yo, like pay attention, kind of shit, right?
I kind of figured I could tune all of that in the Highlander too.
I don't know if you can because that's a standard thing on the Toyotas, whereas like on the Hondas, it's like
another thing that I found super annoying was like every time I get out of the car, the center or the dashboard would like beep at me and be like, check the back seat.
What?
because someone was sitting in the back seat and it knew someone was in the back seat. So I assume it thinks like your kid's in the back seat and you're going to forget your kid.
But I mean,
people have done that.
Oh,
yeah, but you got to be able to turn that off.
People have forgotten their kids on the roof of the car, or like, you know what I mean? People have done all sorts of shit.
These are all very sad stories, and I don't like any of them. The forgetting your kid.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to like turn that off.
Oh yeah, I'm sure all that because there was a way, and I could like go through like show the tire pressure or show the speed in an analog gauge versus the digital gauge, and then like there was all sorts of different things you could pull up in the middle of the gauge cluster, but I never got to the point where I was like changing. I did go through and delete like 30 different iPhones that were all synced to the stereo, but there was one called KFC Extra Crispy. So I just left that one in because I was like, yo, that one's hilarious. It wasn't like iPhone 34.
Yeah, like Bob's iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. One other thing it did have is like when you open the center console, you could put your phone there, and there was a wireless charger.
Yeah, our van has that too.
So that was kind of chill.
It's cool if you don't have a case.
It worked through my case totally.
Yeah, mine works through my case too, but I know that on some of them it doesn't. I
got a case, I feel.
Good. Hey, what's the best rental car you've ever had? I don't know if that's even
well, I mean, there's a story where Eric and I back in the day we did this California trip, and we were basically total bums, but then we're like, oh, it was a Sunday. We were at this like cool area in Cali, and there was like this weird car dealership or car rental dealership. And on Sunday, I guess it was like half price. We were going to rent an M5. I was like, well, at the time, that was like the V10 one, which would have been fucking sick. And then my driver's license was expired by 3 days. And I was the only one old enough to rent it. Oh, just such a kick in the nuts. So we ended up with a Camry, and we actually slept in the Camry.
Well, how did you still rent that though? Because you could rent that at 21. At 21?
Eric can rent it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you needed to be older to rent like the gangster cars.
Yeah.
I think it was only like $150 more like per day or whatever for the M5.
I like that it's only $150 more. Anyway.
I mean, to rent a V10 fucking top of the line BMW versus.
But I mean, if you're paying $200 to rent this Camry and it's $350 to rent this BMW, it almost seems like a no-brainer. But
exactly, it was a no-brainer. It was
like Eric went down for that wedding and he rented the LC 500.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and
did he get that on? Did he get that on Turo or?
Yeah, he did get that on Turo. Yeah,
Turo. I was looking at possibly getting a car on there, and then I was like, nah. Anyway, great.
You should have. You could have got some jacked up like 14 by 14 inch like paddle tire Tacoma.
Yeah,
it's sick.
Well, I'm in Costa Rica. I was supposed to rent a Prado.
Yeah, when you said you got the Highlander, I thought that's what you were talking about was for the Costa Rica trip. But.
No, Highlander. I got a Sequoia. The biggest
biggest, ever. Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, once we got the other people, we needed to have a bigger vehicle.
Who are the other people?
Alex is coming now. So it's just one other person, but it's an adult person. So
yeah,
it requires.
Yeah, we had the 7-seat, like the Highlander is a 7-seater.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a lot of room behind.
No, honestly, I put the child seat behind the driver's seat for my 2-year-old.
You put the child seat behind the driver's seat? Good luck.
On one day. Because I had already put the booster seat in the other side of the third row.
Yeah.
So then I knew I was screwing up too. I was like, shit, now I've got, and then sure enough, I couldn't put the seat back. And I'm all stuck in the front. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like I kind of like was going through all the things that you've talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can put a booster behind you. That's like the best move. But like, the child seat cannot.
But I was just imagining like, all right, well, what if you have 2 of these child seats? So you have to, or you don't have a third row or something. You know what I mean? Like you're just crammed up driving. And like, well, now you got like a Hyundai Excel or some shit. And like,
exactly, man. That's why it's like, you can't, it's gotta be like,
you can't have kids. Yeah. No, but I know. I fully get what you mean. Where you're just like, yeah, that's fine for you, buddy, but like, it doesn't work when you have a family. Like,
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
like I get all those things now.
And that's why, like, I just love my truck so much because it's just like all the space, all the, you know what I mean? Like, I can.
You're like, I forgot I have a bike in the back, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it did. I can put three seats across in the second row, and still kind of drive, and it's like totally fine. Well, actually, it's big enough that like I put Bella in the middle, so the child seat's in the middle, and the seat can go far enough that both seats can go back because it's kind of wide enough that it spans the like child seat.
Yeah, and then you're also like you could kind of like lean back maybe and kind of pretend.
Talking about
life, buddy.
I mean,
you never had these trials and tribulations.
No, your
5-year-old daughter doesn't have a booster seat.
No, of course she does. Safety first. I just always put it like in the middle or on the passenger side.
So did you get that with the rental, or are you checking the booster seat?
We're gonna don't suck me into this conversation. We're here for the real deal.
It's funny, Kevin's talking about like baby stuff and kid stuff. Like who's this guy?
I don't often zone out, but I zoned out and I'm like, are we still talking about this?
Fuck you, man. You're the one who has a kid. Kevin doesn't even have a kid.
I know.
I mean, I zone out when Gerard starts like talking about before dads. I'll be honest.
I turned it off.
Well, I mean, no, you mean
I stopped.
Yeah.
That's not this episode.
Oh, look, I don't mind having these conversations with you in person all the time, but then I was like, somebody's like tuning in to be like, I wonder how I can like slam my car and make it be functional.
I mean, we've already listened to those episodes.
I got an hour of Gerard's time, and all we've done is argue about rental cars.
No, I mean, I love it. People rent cars,
People rent cars. All right,
or they own these cars that we're talking about.
Yeah,
true.
Oh, I did get a question for the podcast today.
Yeah, I got one as well.
I will do mine first.
Okay, hit it.
My podcast question is from Cedric Scabar. He wanted to know, it's for Ryan Benoit.
Oh, God.
And he said, what was the most expensive beer you've ever drank?
Oh, good question.
Was it good? And and then
was it worth it?
Then there's a bit more to the question after you answer that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most expensive beer I ever drank.
And in case you guys didn't know by now, Ryan is very into craft beer.
I think
craft beer.
It's not like I've had anything like terribly expensive. Jordan Hall's bachelor party. No. Jordan Hall's bachelor party. I remember we were at like a restaurant and I bought a bottle of beer, but it wasn't even that expensive. And it was honestly just a bottle of Parallel 49 stuff that they sold you a whole bottle of.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that crazy. But I would say, let's just go per capita. So liquid in the can. I think I bought like a small can from Twin Sales the other day or not the other day. So I did buy one.
355 milliliter can.
I bought one the other day that was $7 for that.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty expensive.
Yeah, but it's also like 11%. So like it'll get you where you need to go.
I feel that weighs into it for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah. When you buy Great Notion beer up here, it can be expensive. And Great Notion is in Oregon and Washington, and they make just like crazy flavored beer. So nothing like too crazy.
Those longboat stouts, but I mean they're huge. They're like I think like $13 or something.
Yeah, there's like that's not bad though. That's honestly for like a bottle, right?
Yeah, it's like a legit bottle. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we do have to preface this like on like BC compared to our closest province, Alberta. We have huge liquor tax, so our beer is a lot more expensive than it is in Alberta. And if you go south of the border, same thing. Like our liquor is taxed so heavily that it's. When I was in Arizona, you could get
Four Loko for $4.
No, whatever's bigger than like a 2.6, like the one that has like a handle.
Is that a 40?
Like a 40, yeah. Like you get a 40 of name brand shit at Walmart was like $19.
That's why everyone's a fucking alcoholic in this state.
It was wild, man.
All right, hang on though. Hang on. So the beer question.
Yeah, the beer.
$20.
Yeah. We're talking about beer.
Name brand vodkas. It was like Grey Goose. Like
Grey Goose, $20,
dude. Like that's what I mean. These weren't even like the cheap shits. Like,
and then you go to the
living.
bar and they charge you fucking like $8 for a shot.
This is why you should always bring your own alcohol from home to the bar. Now I know my brother.
That's why I always bring my Netflix to a movie theater.
Yeah, perfect. I know my brother occasionally listens to the podcast, and he has a habit of getting himself into like tough predicaments where he goes out and misunderstands the price of things and spends way too much on stuff.
Yeah.
Like I once watched him buy ice cream in Vegas for like $20, like just a small thing of ice cream, and he didn't realize.
It gelato or was it ice cream?
I think it was just like ice cream, and he didn't realize it, and they handed it to him, and he's like, oh crap, what am I supposed to do? He like had to give him the thing, and he's like, I guess I'm not getting breakfast tomorrow because that was very expensive for this ice cream. But him and his wife went to a beer place, and I think one of them accidentally ordered, he's probably going to correct me, I want to say like a $20 to $30 bottle of beer. And they said it was, I don't think they said it was like worth it. And I think that's the same for everything. I think that there's is
there a sliding scale?
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day and I thought it was really funny. It was about sandwiches though, but I think it can be applied to all things in life. And it was like the best sandwich costs $11. Anything less than that is gross. Like it just is a sliding scale of being not good and like disgusting. And anything over $11 is foolish.
It's pretentious.
Yeah. They said foolish. Now that's USD, so Canadian, that's probably like $14 to $15 for a sandwich.
Yeah.
I think that's about fair. Anything more than that is a bit foolish.
And almost for $15 want a side, you know?
Yeah,
on a what?
Absolutely.
I'd want a side. Sandwich and a side.
Soup and sandwich, yeah.
Or just chips or fucking salad or
I mean, chips, you're gonna be satisfied with sandwich and chips for $15. Chips are like $1, man.
I mean, depends how many you get. They could have made like hand cut kettle chips in the back or something. But yeah, anyway.
All right. Hey, I want to get back to the beer thing because I'm so excited about that. So to answer Cedric's question, I haven't spent a lot on a single beer. What I think my downfall is like if a brewery I like releases a beer, like even this week I was like, I should save my money. And then Twin Sales was on their like 7th anniversary. And I went and spent like $50 on like different types of beer, which I really only ended up with 2 4-packs in a single can, and it was like $56. So that's my downfall. If during the pandemic, if Backcountry made a beer that I wanted to try and it was brewery only, I would drive to Squamish on the weekend and buy that beer. And then once you get there, you're like,
well, that doesn't seem very.
Drove all this way, I should buy more beer.
Yeah.
So that's my downfall.
That doesn't seem very COVID friendly though. You're just like, oh, hey, there's like this beer I want. I'm just going to like leave my regional area and travel to a new regional area just to purchase beer.
Well, listen, we are all technically part of the same health district, so it was okay, Kevin. My wife works in the health.
In the health.
Mm. I mean, but no, maybe we shouldn't. But anyway, it was my treat. Treat yourself.
I'm just zazzing you.
Okay, what's the follow-up part to Cedric's question?
So the follow-up part was when I got upset about this question when he was asking it. Because I was like, well, that's completely irrelevant.
What am I supposed to do with that?
You could go to a Canucks game and spend $18 on one shitty beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was like, he was like, yeah, I went to the Christmas festival or winter festival or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I bought this beer and it was $10.25 and like it wasn't that great. And I was like, well, yeah, what do you expect, man? You're at like this, they've got you in a barrel just circling around. They know you're there, you're stuck there, you want to get this beer. Like
that's why you don't
charge you whatever you want. But I mean, I don't know, the same thing. They got like, you're gonna buy roasted chestnuts or some bullshit, and it's gonna be like $1 million, or you're gonna buy a candy apple or some like ornament.
You know, honestly,
like all it is, you're paying money. You stand in line to pay money to go into this place that it's just more shops charging overpriced stuff.
Yeah. You pay money to go into this place than to pay more money. The churros they did there were good one year, but that was a weird thing. But
I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. It's just kind of like that type of stuff. It just sort of sucks because it's like, I mean, maybe at one point in our lives, in somebody's lives, like you'd go to the fair or the carnival and maybe it was free and then everything was just kind of like cheap and dope. It's like going to the P&E and like the whole kind of like romance of the P&E or fairs and Christmas things is that you could get all this Christmassy shit in one place and it's like an experience. But when the experience starts costing like double, triple, quadruple what you think it should, then it just becomes like a shitty experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
And it's like even the P&E, man, it's just fucking expensive. It's so expensive, man. Like,
dude, it's crazy. Yeah.
And it's people that don't know, the P&E is a fair, but yes. Go on.
It's really weird like, because there's like the P&E aspect, which is supposed to be the Pacific National Exhibition, which
they don't even have smash up derbies anymore.
No, because it's all the roots of that are in agriculture. They have that huge agriculture area where they have like all of the animals that ever
petting zoos.
Well, yeah, it's like you can go like see every farm animal ever. They have like horse shows, they have like the dog shows, they have all this stuff.
Well, nobody gives a shit about that.
But nobody gives a shit about that stuff. And then the other part of the P&E is like the Six Flags part, which is called Playland. There's all these rides and like games and stuff. But then it's crazy. It's like
I think it's just the nature of the beast these days.
But it's like government subsidized in some way. But then like so that the P&E part keeps getting held on to, even though it doesn't make any sense or any money. And then the Playland part suffers all the time because they just keep taking rides away and not putting money into that part. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent, but. I never even thought about the Christmas festival or fest or whatever as a place where you could go and do all the Christmas.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, I never even thought about it. I just thought it was a place to go and spend a bunch of stupid money. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong.
But I never thought I could go to this place and get my Christmas experience and buy my gifts and be done.
No, you don't buy your gifts there.
You could buy gifts.
That's sort of what I thought Gerard was.
No, you can buy gifts.
Bad Christmas.
Why? They have gifts.
I don't know why you want Christmas decorations. You wake up Christmas morning and get Christmas decorations for your Christmas tree.
No. I mean, they have other shit.
And then like you put it.
Buying your
but it's all Christmas themed.
No, you're right. It's Christmas themed. No, not necessarily.
And then Christmas is over, and then you're like, wow. Anyway. But it's based on a German style Christmas market.
Yes.
And then when you talk to actual German people, they're like, this is kind of bullshit because we would never charge you that much money to get
that's
in
the whole thing. And then you go there and you want to get like the sausages or you want to get like the sauerkraut or you want to get like some sort of genuine shit, and it's like kind of whatever, because obviously it's like when I used to go to the Caribbean festival. Like when I was young, Caribbean festival was sick because it was like, oh wow, we're gonna go and get all this like culture. They're playing like reggae and like dance hall, and there's like it's like fully sick. It's not like you can go to a place that just is that whole culture in one spot, and they got like jerk chicken and all sorts of like delicious food. But then like
you could just go to the Caribbean, but go on.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a bit more.
As time goes on, you get older, and you're kind of like, well, like this isn't actually that great, and then the shit costs expensive. Costs a ton of money.
Shit costs expensive.
And then you're waiting in line for fucking 80% of the time to get this food that like you can literally just go to the restaurant tomorrow to buy the shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
but like what I wonder about these things too is it's like, all right, Christmas Festival 1, probably banging.
Yeah.
Maybe had some growing pains. Christmas Festival 2, great. Same with like Caribbean Festival. It's like, but now you're at Caribbean Festival 28.
Yeah.
And it's like they're like every fucking Bob and Millie's come to this thing. And they're like, all right, well, we know we could charge $8 for these Jamaican patties that we used to charge $2 or
and they're fucking
when
frozen.
We're not at Jamaican or at fucking Caribbean Fest, we'll just charge $2. But now that we are at Caribbean Fest, we'll charge $8, like.
And that's the thing. It's like, honestly, everything in our lives now, it's taxed. It's expensive as fuck. Like, you remember when you could park for free anywhere?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like, now you got to pay for parking. Then you got to pay for entrance. Then you got to fucking wait in line. Then you got to buy this expensive ass shit that it's not even that good. It's just that you're trying to get this experience. But like the experience realistically is paying for parking, looking for parking that you can't find, paying for the fucking parking once you found it, waiting in line to get into the fucking place, paying the money, and so on and so forth. And it's like, that's your experience. It's not very good.
All right. I'm going to say this because I think it's really funny. I think the people that we refer to as tourists in a car scene use the logic that we've all just used to not go to a Christmas festival
to
get out of cars.
Yeah,
to get out of cars and be
like, I agree. Like when Gerard was saying, like, it's like, oh, this, that. I was just like, yeah.
I spend all this money to make my car fast, and I can't drive it fast, and I spend all this money to drive it
make
low.
It look cool, and then I get pulled over.
Well, I mean, realistically, I'm living that right now. It's like I modified this car to drive it, so I drive it every day. The shit breaks down every day. However small the breakdown is, you got a fucking flat tire, you got a light bulb out, it doesn't run properly, needs a tune, fucking coupler fell off.
Doesn't auto brake.
Any amount of small things. And then it's like, now you got to like, oh, I got the twin plate and I got the this and I got the stiff engine mounts. And then it's like, okay, now you got to drive this thing every day. And you're like, okay, those are kind of stiff. Okay, the suspension's kind of stiff. It's like,
but that's the thing. If you were 19 and that was your only car, that would be your only car. But you're not 19 and it's not your only car, so it doesn't have to be your only car. So like, it can just be a car you can drive when you want to drive it, and that makes you still like it. But when it's your only car and you have to drive it all the time, you have to deal with all of those things.
Yeah.
Then
so why are you doing this?
I currently don't have another. I have the case, so the truck is insured, but the truck realistically needs a fuel pump, so I can't comfortably drive the truck every day.
And it needs headers.
Well, I mean, I have the headers. I just haven't installed them. But yeah, it needs.
But I mean, you have a fuel pump. You just haven't installed it either.
Okay, so it needs headers. It needs a fuel pump. It needs an exhaust. It needs to be lifted. So yeah, that's why
it doesn't need to be lifted. Why does it need to be lifted?
I don't know, because lifted trucks are sick.
Jesus.
It needs to get, he needs to start. The reason he hasn't driven it in so long is like he was just complaining so much about the mileage. So obviously he needs these headers in a lifted truck to get worse.
Well, mileage. The headers will improve the fuel economy because I think the cats are clogged. But yeah,
the cats are fucked.
The fuel economy was absolutely just horrendous. Honestly, gas right now is fucking cheap, but
yeah, you should.
I got gas. The sign price is $166.9.
Yeah, I got it 167 this morning.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna need $150. She's like, okay, and I like the pump stopped at like 110. I'm like, for 60 liters, and I'm like, sick.
Yeah, it was.
Now you can afford to go to the
for
Christmas
Shell
festival.
93. It was under $2.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Wait, what was the second part of Cedric's question, or did we cover
that? Was it?
The sort of like the sliding scale where it's like, because like if I'm buying a beer at a liquor store, I expect it to be this much. If I'm buying a beer at the brewery, it's going to be a little bit more. If I'm buying a beer at a restaurant, it's going to be more. If I buy a beer at a concert, it's going to be even more.
Yeah.
It's all the same beer. It's all the same beer. Exactly the same beer for the same amount. And you kind of know there's levels to like where you're going versus how much the beer is going to be,
Yeah.
So I'm like, like when you go to a Canucks game, it's like you're getting the same beer that you get in a can, except it's 7 times more than it would be at the liquor store.
Yeah.
I don't even bother.
It's hard. Exactly. It's hard to appreciate that beer in any way,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that beer would have to be laced with like, fucking
it's got edible gold rim.
Yeah, to be worth $20 or whatever. Right?
Yeah, I don't even bother in situations like that. I think part of my issue is I'm maybe a bit frugal. I think we've probably captured.
I mean, I feel like that's reasonable though. Like, you know what I mean? Is it frugal or is it just intelligent to not spend $70 to get drunk at the hockey game? Where like, I don't know. Like, do you need to be drunk at the hockey game?
The thing is I don't even need to go to a hockey game.
Or whatever, the concert.
You're
but
like the
also
experience.
Exactly. But no, if you want to get like just bring in a Mickey or something,
Yeah.
Just drink that to your heart's content.
That's kind of an interesting thing because like we're talking about this experience thing. It's like that's really all we're chasing all the time. Same thing with the car. Yeah. And it's like you modify the shit of this car because you want the experience of having this like sick ass, like accelerates fast.
Yeah, the thing that like is sick flames. And nobody else has this. Nobody else in the whole world has the same car as Gerard.
And like, how much is that gonna? How much is that worth?
A lot.
not even just money, but like time, commitment, and all that other shit. Like, what's that worth?
Right.
Because that's the same thing as like going to the Christmas market or the P&E. It's like the money's the one thing, but then there's like the time and all that other shit that you know what I mean, that you're basically spending You know what I mean? Like you go to any of those places, it's like a day. Maybe not the Christmas market, but like you
can go back once you pay to get in once, but why do you need to?
Yeah, exactly.
But life is about those experiences. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you know.
But then now you add the whole social fucking media into it. It's like, oh, you get all these people like hashtag Christmas market, and you get all these people going to the Christmas market to say they went to the Christmas market to take photos at the fucking Christmas market. It's like, man,
I always feel like hiking got a big boost because of social media.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I don't know, but maybe it just feels like hiking.
Absolutely, it's like I think hiking got a big boost for social media.
Hiking it and COVID during COVID too,
or social media combined with dating apps. Because every fucking dating app, they want, everyone wants to have the hiking photo. Like, you have to have an active photo, you have to have an attractive photo, you have to have a fucking intelligent photo, whatever you want to do. But like, some motherfuckers always got to have a hiking ass photo.
What was your photo?
I mean, like, would you rather have the hiking photo or the fish photo?
But Gerard, when you were on dating apps, what was your photo?
Not a fucking hiking photo.
No, I know. That's why I'm wondering. Was it you like wearing like...
Man, I honestly...
Your style of clothing, like pose?
I feel like when I was on dating app, I had like 5 ridiculous photos. Like there was like the one on me sitting on the car. And then there's like the one with me with the race suit on with like the 2 NOS girls. And like, you know what I mean? Like just they looked ridiculous. Man.
I feel like the sitting on the car one would just be so confusing for so many women. They'd just be like,
I'm just gonna toss this out there. I think
this guy.
I think Kevin would be so confusing for so many women.
Yeah, it's like that's a pretty.
I'm not a simple person.
Like you're trying. You're definitely not like shooting for what's the word, like the common denominator. You know what I mean?
No, I'm also like just being like, this is me.
Yeah, I from when we started this, I've always admired that Kevin is very like, this is who I am and this is what I'm about, and you can either get on board or get out of my way.
No, I can't even remember, honestly. I'm sorry. It's been a long time.
Probably you and Dominic.
I probably did have one with Dominic. Yeah, I would have one.
Did you have like a emoji over his face, or was it like full exposed?
I don't know. I remember that was a bit weird because it's like you want to show your kid, but like you don't want to show your kid.
Yeah, totally. Because you want to like show like, oh hey, you're looking at my profile. By the way, I have a kid,
but I'm also stable. Possibly.
Well, that's a lie, but
and that part was a lie. And then he shows up in his Aristo on a date, and they're like, "What the fuck? I thought you had a kid."
I don't even know if I had any car photos, man. I can't.
But I mean, none of our 3 relationships are from dating apps.
No, none of them.
Also, that would be wild. Like, imagine you're the opposite sex, and you go on a date with Gerard, and Gerard's photo is him, whatever, wearing his fucking crazy patterned sweater and whatever.
I feel like Gerard has like a bunch of like pretty dressed up clothes. That's what the photo would be.
There's probably one of those in there.
I didn't want to say his current one because it's like him it's from his wedding.
I
just like Gerard's wedding photo doesn't make sense, but like I imagine Gerard nicely dressed in his like hip and trendy like clothes. And then you meet him, and then it's like, what do you do for a living? And he's like driving this wild car, and it's like, I own a car modern company and they're like, oh, like Ferraris, and you're like, no, Toyotas, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I mean, I feel like even my wife currently like definitely didn't really know what I did, and then even when I told her, she was kind of like,
he's an entrepreneur.
Still doesn't know.
Yeah, it's like he has his own business or something. They do the stuff,
Yeah, my dad has his own business. He has his own business.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. I like that. Okay, so I answered Cedric's question and we got that. Good.
Yeah. We made it.
Mikey wrote in and he asked.
I was just gonna add one more thing. Now you gotta pay for parking at Stanley fucking Park, man. Anyways, go
on. Jesus. All right. Okay.
Just park in Cole Harbor.
You gotta pay that too.
Meekzilla. Our boy wrote in, said, "Hey, kind of stupid question. What are your guys' thoughts on GoFundMe car builds?
Oh God.
Why do people do it? Is it socially okay? Is it frowned upon?" And so there has been a lot of GoFundMe come up in the last little bit here.
There's been some FundMes. Okay, so
GoFundMe.
I feel like there's
pricing.
maybe a place for the GoFundMe. When you have like a family member who needs.
I don't know, man.
Every time I see the GoFundMe though, it just
GoFundMe for Canadians are bullshit. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, exactly. I was just going to say every time I see GoFundMe, it speaks to the fact that the healthcare system is fucked, and that these people who have just regular ass illnesses need $750,000 for medical expenses, and then the fucking collective of people just goes and pays. I mean, I guess that's what taxes are, but now you're somehow picking and choosing who is worthy or something, I don't
right.
But yeah,
I'm going to tell you
in Canada, that doesn't happen so often, but in the States, it seems very common. But that is not what the question was. But that to me is a valid reason, perhaps, like
GoFundMe is, and I'm going to screw this up and I apologize, but it's actually one of the top funding things or ways to pay for healthcare. No, just way to pay for healthcare in the US.
I don't disagree. Yeah, makes so much sense.
And the irony of it all is that it is selective socialism. I don't know if that's a real thing. I just made it up. Yeah. But it's like, or elective socialism. It's the same thing that Canadians have.
We determine that this person is going through some shit and they need our help.
But in Canada, we just all pay a little bit and hopefully take care of people the best that we can. And there, it's like, hey, can you please pay a little bit and take care of people the best that you can? So I guess on one side, it is very easy to be mad and say like, oh, I can't believe that people do that. But then two, as a Canadian, I guess you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, maybe there's probably some intricacies to the system that they exist in that I don't fully understand. Right?
There's also GoFundMes for like, hey, like I want to take my girlfriend to Hawaii.
Really?
Now.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Or like, oh, hey, like I want to drive Formula D Pro 2.
Right.
Like GoFundMe.
Brings me to my next point, which is GoFundMe is the tip option of every restaurant, any place that has like everybody has a tip option now, and GoFundMe is exactly that. Like I remember the first time I went to a Subway, and then Subway had a tip option on it. Yeah. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? And then it's there.
I stopped at a liquor store on the way home today. And it had a like automated tip option, the lowest of which was 18%.
The lowest?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, you are a liquor store. I walked in, I purchased what I wanted to do. You didn't do a single fucking thing.
18% is the lowest?
And then if I wanted a brown paper bag, they would charge me 15 cents.
Hang on. Was it attached to a restaurant?
Nope. High Point Liquor.
I was there the other day and I had that and I was like, yo, this is wild.
Yeah.
My favorite thing,
100% self-serve business. What the fuck am I tipping?
My favorite thing with the tip option is pressing no tip. It's like you're giving me the option to give you a tip. I'm fucking absolutely not giving you a tip, even if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, in restaurant stuff, whatever, sure, but it's like,
I will sometimes round up. A lot of the times, I'll round up.
I don't know.
Where it's like if it was like whatever, like 1875, I'll be like 25 cents.
Right. Now we're not here to do the opening scene of Reservoir Dogs.
We should.
Yeah. Okay.
Pay a livable wage.
Yeah. What I was saying was that is whenever there's a gap where people can see that, it's like, if I just put the option, what's the worst you're going to do? Say no.
Totally.
And that becomes the gap that is GoFundMe. That is exactly that. Yeah. I do think that there are reasonable times when it can be used because, like I said, there's intricacies to a system that I don't fully understand, and I'm for everyone taking care of each other. So I think, yes, it's nice in some ways that when it comes to healthcare, people are willing to do that. I wish that there was a system for people to always be taken care of. And that when you get to cars, I do struggle with it a little bit. And that's because we electively do all of this stuff, right? Gerard did not start a GoFundMe when he put the Aristo into the wall. He hustled, he sold some parts, figured it out, and he did the thing. But Gerard knew what he was getting into when he put that car on the track and drove it.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's you're in the
the ironic thing is, if I probably did do a GoFundMe for the Aristo, it probably would have done all right. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to.
Yeah, because that seems like the weird counter truthful back asswards thing where it's just like the bigger you are, the more sponsorships you get, and it's like the more reach you have, the more people are going to be willing to donate money they don't really have to you.
Because people are vested in you. They want to see the Aristo drift. They want to see your car progress. They want to see you go to Formula D. They want to see you drift to Vizu. They want, you know what I mean? Like because they can't do it, and they can see you do it for $20.
Yeah, that's why I feel like maybe that's why we talked about this at the time, and it was just like it was something that both of us were pretty against, Yeah. But like we also both talked about, all right, well, we could make a shirt, or something, make some sort of merchandise and sell it, and then use the profits from that towards what we're, to rebuild the Aristo or whatever it is,
When in fact I just parted it out and made a decent amount of money.
Right. You hustled and you did what you needed to do. I understand.
But one thing I will say too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan. I don't need to keep interrupting you.
Go on. I'm totally on board.
Is that maybe if you had a GoFundMe, the 100 would already be done by now. It wouldn't be 2 years later and the project is just starting.
I mean, the 100 is not financially, it wasn't held back by finances whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you haven't had the car for that long.
Yeah.
It literally just passed.
I think if I would have had a GoFundMe, I would have just probably built another Aristo. I would have because before it was like, well, we could do this. Because at first I was like, I'm just going to find the cheapest possible thing to like erase this situation.
I mean, I guess you had to stage it in between there.
No. Like, I made the decision for the Stagia after I decided against another Aristo.
But that's what I mean. Like in between the 100 and the Aristo.
Oh yeah, I had the Stagia.
And that's
project idea. We bought all the shit for this Stagia. We had fucking almost everything for the Stagia. We just never pulled the motor out or anything like that, and it just kind of sat there. And
right,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's not like we're financially burdened. It's like what's the collective word for time? We just don't have the time to do any of these projects.
Yeah.
It's like for me to build that 100, I could build it in, 2 months. But that 2 months is going to be minus SerialNine. Like SerialNine is not going to have a Gerard for 2 months. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the fucking problem. Anyways, nothing to do with GoFundMe's going on here. So
no, and that's so again, and look, there's a sliding scale of it because I get it. There are people who get themselves in a situation, and maybe I think there was a crash this past weekend, and there's a GoFundMe for the healthcare part of that. And
I feel like
that was a huge crash.
Yeah, that one. It probably is like
it's like
on board with.
Yeah,
like if it's that. You know what I mean? If it's some fucking stats car show fucking thing that like burned down, like there's no way in the world you're ever getting me money for that.
That's what Mikey wants us to talk about.
I mean, you'd be. I would probably not be surprised if people paid money. Like as much as people hate that car, there's probably a lot of people that don't hate that car or want to see it come back because of the people that hate it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. But yeah, I'm in no way willing to donate money.
Right.
Or I feel like even my like time or attention to that. But like this other person who was like involved in a motorsport that I like with vehicles that I like, who got seriously hurt, who lives in a country where that injury could literally cost them and their kids their livelihood. Yeah. I'm probably willing to like chip in a little bit on that, maybe.
Right.
But if it's like, hey, like, help me paint my car so I can go to SEMA, like, get fucked.
Yeah, so that's kind of it. It's like my whole thing with GoFundMe is it's like there's got to be a bit of pride there, right? It's like you're obviously like you're basically getting on your knees and saying, "Hey guys, like I can't do this by myself because for whatever fucking reason, but somehow I have these grandiose goals, but I can't do them by myself. So can you please help me to do these goals that I'm going to be really good at them, but like I need your help to fucking get me there."
I don't know if they see it as them being like begging as much as
it's absolutely begging.
No, I mean, how do you not see it?
I agree with you. I'm not begging. Doing
but how do they not see it?
Well, because they
don't have any pride.
Well, I think hang on. I think that they see themselves as a person of interest in the scene.
Yeah, because everyone's got like, main characters.
Everybody sees themselves as that.
Yeah, everybody is the main character in the story of their life, and the world revolves around them. But then, like, you build the car, it goes a little bit viral for the right or the wrong reasons, and then you're like, "Hey, this could be a viable business for me." And here's my hustle. Instead of me,
that dude had custom control arms. He had custom control arms. That's his business or whatever the fuck it is. Get the fuck out of here, man.
No, I'm saying I
know, but I'm just saying that particular one.
Yeah, but he can also be like, now my business is the hustle of just asking people. That's what I'm saying. It's the tip option of.
But I mean, I get both sides. I kind of get both sides of it. It's like if I just had like a continuously going GoFundMe, I made it every month for like $300 or like, what about those like coins that you were talking about on Facebook?
Yeah.
Or donations on Twitch or having Patreon members. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all sort of the same thing. It's tons of people are willing to give you a very tiny amount of money, and that will help you do what you need to do. And then you can just share it with them. And like you said, like they feel like they got to go there with you and be part of it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I thought about that too. Like, should I sell spots on the roof of my fucking Altezza for Drift Week and let everyone like put their name on it or something for like a small amount of money? And then all of a sudden now I have a bunch of money in my pocket to help me with the Drift Week. Like, I don't know. I was thinking, like, should I sell t-shirts? Like,
yeah, like how different is that from GoFundMe, right? Is what you're saying.
I mean, it's different for me because at least the person gets something. Like maybe not the signature on the car, but like the shirt.
Yeah.
Like if you're willing to pay like, like $30 for a shirt that's $20, like you assume it should be only $20 because it's going to help this person do something, but you at least get something for it.
Okay, go on.
Hang on. I'm going to say this. Danny George back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that for like Dodo Logic was like somewhere on his car because we're like, oh, this guy wants to drive Formula D, and you get your name on the car, and it's and I'm not saying it's the same, and I get there's different business models.
No, I mean that was basically what I was talking about with that.
Same thing, Noriaro. If you're in that thing, you get like
the Patreon scroll.
Yeah. And there's that thing because you get behind someone that's doing something. I think that GoFundMe for some people is that minimum barrier of entry of doing something. There's no clever ploy.
Because I don't have to give you back anything.
It's just taking out the twist. It's just like what I'm giving you is my presence. And that's that like main player, like main character syndrome type thing. And also what I was saying about the tip option. If you just turn it on, if you're the liquor store and you just turn it on, not everyone's going to hit it, but somebody might actually tip you just because. And actually, to that point, Kevin, I was at the same liquor store, bought some beer, and the person in front of me bought beer, had a conversation with the lady, and then proceeded to tip her. And I was like, yo, you're tipping her for pleasantries that you're exchanging with her. Like, that's like good for you, but I'm not about to do that. But it's like, if you don't ask, you'll never know. And I think that's kind of like in their mind, that's kind of the hustle.
The whole thing too is, I mean, I guess in today's society, it doesn't really matter a whole lot, but like how do you view this liquor store now compared to before they had the tip option? I mean, obviously it's not hindering you from buying liquor there. It's not hindering you from shopping there, but now you're kind of like,
I can just
what the fuck?
But also like, I just feels like a wave. It's coming everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they asked me to tip at Five Guys. I'm like, dude, I'm paying like $18 for a fucking hamburger. I'm not tipping at Five Guys.
But I mean, it's a restaurant, so at least it's like somewhat, they're making your food. So at least somewhat,
no, I get that too. But I also felt like the entire time it was overpriced. And I felt that like my part of that overpriced was the like living wage that the people were getting, and they didn't need tips to live on. But I do agree with you that like, yes, the person at Five Guys flipping the burgers and doing the like frying the fries is probably doing more work than the person stocking the
They literally
beers.
sit there and fucking.
Well, I mean, they got to put the beers in the fridge and all that sort of shit. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're doing far less than the person flipping the burgers.
So what I was going to say,
based on service, so
yeah. So one thing
that's the problem. It's like that's everywhere. Like I don't know. Like you get bad customer service at the mechanic shop. Like do you tip when you get good customer service?
Exactly. There's no
just
tip
become
option at the fucking mechanic shop.
Certain
there should be a tip option in the mechanic shop.
But the other thing to me, it was like sometimes I would get tipped doing tree work, but it was very rarely. But they would always tip before. And that made sense to me because it's like now I'm going to go way above and beyond.
They would tip before, like when they saw you starting, they're like, hey, here's a fucking tip.
Yeah.
Because that's because you're the fucking front man. And Jason would collect the invoice after. That's why. Because they're like, hey, because this is the guy doing the work.
They're tipping the worker. Exactly.
Yeah. And they're like, hey, I need you to take care of this. And you're like, yeah okay.
So one thing,
and when you tip a valet
like
guy,
any amount, that's what I mean. Like any amount of tip I got in that job would like create infinitely better service. But it feels like when you tip after your fucking waitress did a shitty job, you still feel obligated to tip.
Yeah, I don't tip.
You literally don't. Like you go out with your family, have like $130 meal at Cactus Club, you will leave $0.
No, not at zero. Not at zero, but like I'm definitely not giving her fucking 18% or something. I give her 10, maybe 5 to 10.
Some people would say
5. That's crazy.
Yeah, 5 is you're a real asshole at that point.
Yeah. I
but
just
I mean,
do the 15 and be upset about it. Like a millennial.
So let me not forget about what I'm trying to say here. But I've had a dude. Okay, so it was actually one of like the early dates that Kat and I went on, and we went to Cactus. And we had lava cake, whatever. Lava cake was terrible. We sent it back, whatever. This guy's like, so he comes back. He's like, yeah, that lava cake was terrible. We're like, okay. He's like, I had a taste of it in the back, and it was dry. And I'm just thinking in my head, bro, you ate our food, man.
I don't know. Like if you had like one bite of it and he could have another bite off the other end. But
still, it's like kind of crazy to be like, yo, man, I like just ate that same food that you guys just.
I mean, I feel that's like I honestly feel that's.
You know what?
And he's just like, yo, I agree with you. That was terrible. Yeah, I also respect that guy.
Yeah. Gerard, I feel like you would eat. I feel like that's a thing you'd almost.
I would, yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't be like, hey, like hot lady, I just fucking, I like had the same food you did. Anyways,
he wanted to check and make sure you're on the level, and he was like, "Oh, this."
So, anyways, what I wanted to say is this whole GoFundMe thing. It's kind of like it just reeks of like fucking entitlement, man. Like it's like new school. It's like these fucking entitled kids that like just can't go get a goddamn job. They want a participation trophy. They want to hit the fucking easy button.
Dude, I literally got an Instagram message as we're talking about this, and the message is, "Kids will never know the struggles like back in the day before the internet or GoFundMe ever existed."
Yeah, it's like you smash up your car.
You either take care of your own shit or you fucked up and lost your car. Oh well, save your own damn money and move on. Yeah, man. You fucked your car. Go get a fucking another job. Go do some fucking work. Go sell some parts. Don't be like, go.
Hang on. Like, no, I'm going to say this. I don't think it's a generation thing because I also think isn't the person with the RX-8 like fairly old?
No, it's a shitty situation. He knows the fucking truth. The car looked like shit from my point of view. Like.
From every point of view,
it burned down. I don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I've been saying
it's not worth 5 minutes.
What I've been saying at work the last couple of days is just like just stop talking about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like all you're doing is exactly what he wanted. I'm like the only thing that car could have gotten any more attention from is if it burnt down. You know what I mean? He'd already plateaued. That was the only way he could make it any further.
But also at the same time, it's like what are you gonna get?
It didn't even really fucking burn down, you know.
And what are you gonna get from like like hating him, like ooh, like your collective, you're like one little minuscule of extra hate is going to collectively like make him feel worse about himself because everybody hates him now. He gives a fuck, man. You know,
he doesn't feel bad about himself.
Exactly. You guys doesn't give a fuck. Do you guys remember the GoFundMe for Ibizu?
Was it a GoFundMe?
Well, there was a whole bunch of controversy.
There were shirts and there was like...
Yeah, there was a bunch of controversy about it because I think somebody said it and then they, you know, it was something about Samet and LZ and all this other shit. I don't even remember like what happened, if it did or didn't happen. I don't know.
Well, I mean, sorry, like that's another thing with GoFundMe's is it's like there's like people set up GoFundMe's for their like daughter who has cancer who doesn't even exist, and then they just take the money and fucking go gambling or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no verification.
Yeah.
So didn't the Villains track run into this where they like originally did a GoFundMe and then like we can't do that, we have to sell it. Although it's interesting because GoFundMe is a business, they take money off the top.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's an amazing business proposition. It's so good.
I will hold this money for you, but I get some. So, and then in their world,
it's like a bank for everybody.
Kind of, if you're
not
worthy.
Really a bank.
If you be
for
worthy,
anybody,
you can.
It's like a it's like a funnel.
Yeah,
it has all these little claws.
I think
it's a crab funnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money.
Here's what I'll say. I think here's what funnel. I think. I think the car world is a very interesting place.
Wrong answer.
No,
I'm just kidding. No,
I think the car world is a very interesting place where people get into it and they get a little taste of success or like acknowledgement or attention, and it goes right to their head very quickly. And there's this sense of that it like kind of. You know, how many people did you know that started their own automotive brand? How many people did you know that like had their own, you know, like off of what they had? It's like, I have this car. Now my Instagram handle is on my car. And like, there's like,
maybe
my
like
car
5
has
to 10.
Really? I've seen so many people that it's like, I remember going to SEMA and watching people being like, I've built this car and this car is going to be.
Right. But what I mean is like, you know, that's,
not like, manufacturing parts.
No, I mean even anything with more longevity than fucking 2 or 5 years. Anything that lasts 2 years is not a thing. Like you have your Instagram name on the side, you start making some fucking stickers. I don't know, bull bars and side.
No, not even that. I'm saying like, hey, I'm gonna make a sticker. Maybe I'll make a T-shirt. Would you be interested in buying T-shirts? Like,
I mean, you call that a business?
So, yes.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I'll call it a business too.
There's more successful businesses than SerialNine that make stickers.
Okay, but I'll call that a business after it's fucking past 2 or 5 years or whatever. Give me a number, but like if you do that for a year or two,
I agree.
That's not a business.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're making money off it 5 years later, then yeah, you've successfully made a business out of your Instagram handle and some fucking stickers.
Night Runner is a business, right?
Yeah, Night Runner is a successful business.
Yeah, and that is they don't
stickers
necessarily manufacture parts.
They kind of
do.
They branched out. They have harnesses. They have steering wheels. They have
they don't manufacture the parts, but they collaborate with manufacturers.
Yeah, they collaborate with
they're a design firm maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I think there was a point where it's an interesting progression to get to the GoFundMe because there was a point where a lot of people were doing that. They were like, I'm going to build this car. This car will be my identity. And then I will attach a business to this car. And then I'll go from there. And GoFundMe almost just took out the middle. They were like, no. You don't need to make stickers. You don't need to make T-shirts. You don't need to have a viable business. Just ask people for money. Do a thing and then just straight up ask. Don't give them anything in return except your presence. Your presence is your present to them. And that's.
But is it like your presence or is it your content?
Is it?
Because like.
But that's the thing is like.
So like if I'm going to pay $120 a year for some cable that I don't really watch because I'm working and like I don't care about when I'm not working because there's ads. Like, why wouldn't I just pay this? Why wouldn't I pay 6 dudes $20 a year or one dude fucking $20 every 6 months? You know, to watch some actual content that I actually care about.
Yeah. I mean, they better be making some pretty good content.
Whistling
Who would
Diesel.
who would you give money to? Is there any
I wouldn't give money to
automotive?
anybody.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
way.
I wouldn't.
Actually, that's not true. Probably some like, I was going to say survival, but I meant wilderness or survival.
No, it feels like it feels like the lower you are to the bottom of the ladder, the more I might be willing to give.
Right.
I mean, what fucking channel would you want to watch that's near the bottom of the ladder, though?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, hey, look, if we don't start getting more views on these videos, we're the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
We should start a GoFundMe.
I'm the bottom of the ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're saying that.
Come fund us.
Yeah, I had a point about you going to Drift Week, and now I can't remember.
It was about getting a DUI in Arizona.
That was a dream that I had. No,
like
there's an actual thing about how go on.
I told Catherine in advance, I said, next year in 2023, I'm going to be drifting a lot and I'm going to be gone a lot. And you're going to be okay with that. And that's the end of it. That's what I said. She's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, that's the only caveat is I have to finish.
That's a pretty manly thing.
The only caveat is I have to finish this room downstairs so Alex can stay here like when I'm gone. But she's like,
well, let's put that king bed in. It'll be good.
It's kind of fine, but the only thing is I don't like being in the house like by myself with the kids like kind of far and stuff. Even though they're not really that far, but like.
Yeah, it's a big house though, right?
Yeah, it's a big house.
The west, it's got the west wing and the east wing.
It's got all the.
I didn't tell you about our raccoon posse that I had to like.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't tell Ryan, did I?
I don't know.
With the bear scare, I had to like shoot them and shit.
You have to shoot them. Also, we can't put this in. I feel like we're moving in a good direction.
Okay, let's go in that direction then.
We were going in the direction of you're going to drift.
Okay,
and
drift.
I'm going to drift.
Aren't we done?
Oh no, I was going to drift. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Or Kevin's going to drift week.
You told your wife you were going to drift a lot.
You're like, fuck you, bitch. I'm going drifting.
I didn't say that.
Essentially.
I was just like this year, we had a baby, I took a lot of time off. I said, because even in talks came up, she's like, oh, like, what are you doing with this truck? Like, do you need this truck? And I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, I need the truck. I need the truck to go camping with my family that we didn't do at all. But like, she's like, okay, well, I'm more okay with that now because Bella's older. Like, yeah, the truck was purchased to have enough room for the family to go camping or off-roading. And the truck was purchased to tow my drift car to drift events. So like, that's what I'm going to do next year is camping, drifting, trucking, and stuff. And you're going to do it with me, whether you like it or not. We're doing it.
We're married. What event? Where are you going drifting?
I don't know. Wherever the hell drifting's happening, I'm going to go there.
I mean, okay. All right.
Like my commitment that I've done to this goddamn blit to drive on the fucking street every day, I'm going to commit to drift at the 100 at any cool event I can.
All right. So if you're listening out there, if you've made it this far through this weirdest fucking podcast that we've done, I should add the reason this is so weird is because we did a podcast last week. And so it's almost like we maybe.
I mean, we used to do a podcast every week.
Yeah, but it was the pandemic and I was thinking about things all the time.
And we hadn't done 57 podcasts.
Probably number 60.
Yeah, we're like, episode 2.
Yeah, we made it.
If you're listening and you got an idea of where Gerard should bring his whole family drifting, let him know.
That's not what I said. I didn't say they're all coming drifting. I said they're going to come camping. I'm going to go drifting. Mind you, I like when my wife comes drifting.
That's nice. I like that for you. Kevin said he's going to Drift Week, and immediately I was like, how can I go to Drift Week with Kevin? And I tried to really
I like this idea.
process. Yeah, I tried to process that in my mind. I was like, so how long are you going for? And then I'm like trying to think about it.
I'm sure your wife would love that.
I mean, yeah, well, these are all the things. So, okay, Kevin's got Drift Week. Gerard has made up events that he's going to, which is great.
I mean, there are a lot of events. I missed a fucking lot of events this year.
But now all the tracks are closed, so.
Are you going to drift at Mission then?
I mean, I'm going to drift at Mission, I guess.
Where else are you going to drift? How far are you willing to drive to drift?
That's a great question.
I mean,
how much effort is
I
Gerard?
have a Villains membership that I've never used, so like, let's do that.
So let's say that there's a SerialNine goes to Villains, not just one half of SerialNine.
Yeah,
Kevin and Gerard do that. Okay, that sounds great.
That does sound great.
Okay, I like that. Let this be one of the things that we say in the podcast that we
actually happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like making our own.
Well, I mean, I do think I do want to do that whole like JZX cruise thing down to some sort of
yes, we should.
So there's that.
Oh, you want to organize that? Okay.
Yeah, we want to make a podcast land. We're trying to do a JZX PNW cruise.
Oh, it's not JZX, it's JZ or sedan.
Touché.
Oh, that means I can come. Thank God.
Yes. Yes. It's not, it's like, and also you get a free pass if your car is cool enough. So it doesn't have to be a JZ or a sedan. It just has to be cool as fuck.
But in your eyes,
now you're like definitely like veering off the track. You muddied the water. Just cut that out. Cut that part out.
Well, what if it's like a fucking sick Laurel?
But then what happens when they're like, it's not a sick Laurel? And what happens when there's a fucking pickup truck?
What if it's a Kaido racer that's got a fucking...
Don't they have to get approved to drive down the road beside us?
No, not in any way, shape, or form. That's the thing.
But then it doesn't matter what I say because they could just drive down the road with us anyways.
They could, but when you've invited these cars to drive down the road beside us,
I didn't invite no cars.
I feel like you had a thing and then you just
exactly. You had the SerialNine fucking like customer niche in a ball, and then you just like threw the ball into the ocean and was just like, yeah, well, I mean, if your car's cool, I guess you could come.
I just meant like if we think your car's cool, not if your car's cool.
Yeah, but like how like so now you're gonna judge them at the minute they show up and be like, no, you can't come with us.
Also, I think people misunderstand a little bit about
how many fucking whack ass JZXs do you think are gonna show up, Kevin?
Hey,
hundreds.
Exactly. So like,
I know you're gonna turn them away because be like, yo, fuck you, man. Like you don't have.
That's what I'm saying.
Parts.
But that's what I'm saying. It's going to be some whack ass JZ.
Yeah. So if you were just like, hey, JZ, JZX only, period, full stop, still non-JZX cool cars are going to show up because they think they're like, hey, my car's cool enough. And then stock ass JZX cars are going to show up because they're like, hey, this is what I'm about. But if you're like, man, if you got a cool car show up, then you're going to have like every fucking car in the world.
Everybody thinks they have a cool car.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I need to make sure people understand this. Gerard on the podcast isn't necessarily Gerard in real life. The things that he says aren't the things that he does. He may say that I'll tip 5%, but I guarantee Gerard doesn't actually tip 5%. Gerard's like, I'm going to turn away bad cars. Gerard won't. Gerard in person, much too polite to do that. He'd just be like, yeah, whatever, I guess. But Gerard, podcast Gerard, is different than in-person Gerard.
I mean, this is a hypothetical event.
Yeah,
we are creating the event. Yes. So like, I don't know what you're getting worked up over. We can invite. What I meant was, if we like, you know what I mean?
Theme. Just have your theme party. Just do your one theme party, like Kevin said.
I mean,
not cool cars, just JZ powered cars and J's.
You got one JZs, you got two JZs.
I said and sedans.
Jesus Christ, Gerard.
I'm gonna pull up in my fucking LeSabre and I'm gonna rock out.
Okay.
I'm gonna drive my Prius.
Yeah, I guess you got me there. Except
Nicole's gonna bring the CRV.
That's a hatchback. That's not a sedan.
That's a mid-size SUV.
CRV is a hatchback.
Mid-size SUV.
CRV is a hatchback now. A 5-door hatchback?
Yeah. Does it have a trunk?
No, it's a mid-size SUV.
Whatever you want to call it. It's
100% an SUV.
Yeah. But it's not a sedan. What I meant was it has a hatch. Therefore, garnering it not a sedan is what I meant. I didn't mean
I see. That's how the Gerard brand.
I just meant like it has a hatch. So more closer to a wagon than a fucking sedan.
Okay. Fuck, what a weird episode. It's late.
Jay-Z powered cars, whatever. What I meant by sedans was like Laurels, like other cool sedans that we like, because we could be like, hey, you.
Yo, 2005 Camry.
You. I mean, if a Camry had a fucking 600 horse 1MZ, I'd be fucking down.
I love that you know what comes in a Camry. That's great.
Dude, Camrys are sick. You could get a 4-wheel drive Camry.
I know. Have you never listened to the podcast? I talk about, we all talk about how much we love Camrys. Yeah. But I just love that, like, off the top of your head, you're like, 2005 Camry. Like, I have no idea what engine's in that car. That's great. I don't know how your brain works, but it's amazing and it's also terrible.
I mean, it could be inaccurate. It could be a 1VZ or 1MZ. I can't remember what.
Oh man, someone's gonna write it and correct you and make you look like a dummy. Well, and then you're gonna have a bunch of shitty cars at your meet. So this is a thing that needs to get organized between Gerard building a car, Kevin doing Drift Week.
Yeah, and running a goddamn business. That's what I mean.
Like, what are the chances?
So just come work for us now, Ryan, so that you can just be happy.
Again, how about that?
You could be the disgruntled customer, like smoother over.
Do you think I would be good at that? I don't know if I'd be good at that.
I think you would.
You could just confuse them.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to them, like
just talk to them in circles for
really
20
know
minutes
what
until they don't.
Am I mad still?
I don't know.
Hey, you want to be on a podcast? Is just every episode?
I'm Ryan Bedwell.
One thing we've been encouraged to do is that, like, every time we talk to a customer on the phone for like 20 minutes and they're like
happy,
satisfied with our customer service, we're supposed to like
get a
tell them to give us a Google review, or to like, hey, you should like check out the merch section on the website.
Yo, speaking of which, when I called Fortune Auto today, I talked to the tech and I was pleasantly surprised by how A, knowledgeable he was, B, like polite he was.
Yeah. Nice.
And C, he was like just super nice. He pulled out my order right away. I didn't have to like explain who I was. I was just like, yeah, I'm Gerard from SerialNine, blah, blah. And then like, he's like, yeah, it says here on your invoice that we built the 500s first and this and that. And at the end of the phone call, I was like, hey, man, like, I just want to say, like, excellent customer service. This day, he's like, I really appreciate you, man. He's like, that's really nice thing to say.
I really appreciate you.
Yeah. It's just like, man, like this was a great experience. Like, I phoned in. I actually got to talk to you. Like, because when I said when I phoned the first time, we're experiencing a high call. I just hung up. I was like, fuck that.
But also, didn't you say that you like sent like a bunch of emails?
I didn't actually send an email because I told the guy, dude, first of all, I fucking hate emails.
I know you hate emails. Because also, like, I do get that, like, when you're trying to deal with that level of information and back and forth and talking, is it going to be 45 emails or like? Yeah.
And then the other thing too is like, now I was writing an email that like, hey, I'm reviewing these things. Here's my review. And by the way, like, I'm having these problems with these second ones. But like, it turned into this big, long, elaborate email. And then I'm just like, man, I just want to ask about the fucking clunking. That's all I want to ask about. Like,
is this normal?
Yeah. No, it's not normal.
All right. So there'll potentially be a cruise in the Pacific Northwest. Have to look at what that
the
is.
goal
hang on. Can we put this in because the Fortune coils shit or what?
No, oh shit! I didn't tell you.
Clunking?
No, listen. I put them on full stiff to go fucking drop Dominic off at martial arts.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! It was like crazy, dude. But it's weird because like they're not bouncy; they're just like fucking stiff. And it was like cool. I'm like, oh man, like, this is like pretty wild. Like this is definitely feels like a full fucking race car. But like, you couldn't drive it like that on the street. Like, I mean, you could, but it's so like unpleasant.
Yeah.
The car does not stop moving. It's just like the whole fucking way. You're just like
hysteresis?
No, it's just like stiff. Like it just follows every little undulation or bump or anything on the road. But yeah, so I mean, we got to talk about this tomorrow because Ryan's just like, what are you guys talking about?
No, I'm fine with this. I think this is interesting and I like it. But then I'm also like, are we going to?
Yeah, so it's crazy because I had them on a full soft this morning and they did not feel great. Like they're softer, but they weren't great. Put them on full stiff, very stiff. I mean, on a racetrack road course, probably great. So I ran them around 15.
So is a 510 what I want? And I just like go from like 5 to 15, like on drift week? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I feel like the 510s generally are a more aggressive damping characteristic.
Yeah.
Like they feel fucking nuts. Like they feel like a race car. Like even on 15, it's like they're stiff. Like you're feeling like every bump in the road.
That's like 15 out of 32, right? Not 15 out of 16?
No, 15 out of 25.
Okay. So
20, it's like
25, not 16 though.
Correct. Yeah.
Stats only goes to 16, right?
Yeah. It goes up to like 24, 25. So it's 15 out of 25. And like, yeah, like definitely it's weird because like, yeah, like I had them on 20, I had them on 15. It is noticeable for sure. But to me, the 500s were vastly more comfortable in any setting. So I don't know what the difference is as far as the damping characteristics, because it's not like they were just softer. They were just fucking way smoother. Like, when we drove the car, we're just like, man, this is like amazing. Like I've never felt coilovers feel this smooth ever. Like if I could put those on the fucking Odyssey, I'd like 100% put them on the Odyssey.
It always felt like when I went from like coilovers to like the XR1 or whatever they called it back then, the SD, or not even SD, it was the S.
Whatever, I don't mean.
It was 100 names back. Yeah, that always felt like that. And then when I got into your car, it somehow felt like that again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know if like everything just went down.
Yeah, I don't know.
What, but I was just like, man, this is fully the exact same feeling.
Yeah.
That I had getting into the stances the first time, where I'm just like, how is it ride like this?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. The 510s don't ride like that. Like you said,
they don't at all.
The 510s feel like coilovers. Like they feel kind of shitty almost.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, I'm getting a coilover. I expect it to sort of have this level of shittiness, if you will.
And that's kind of the thing
too. Harshness, maybe.
When I put them on full soft, I expected them to be like closer to the 500s or even remotely like the 500s, but they're not.
Seems reasonable.
They were not at all. Like you still felt every bump. You still feel everything. There was no setting on the 510s that would just mellow it out like to the point where you're like, because this morning I was like, yo, I'm fucking sick of this. I just want to drive this car like to work like the most comfortable it possibly can drive. Put it on full soft. I'm just like, it's like clunking all over the fucking place. Like it's still like kind of like nervous, like because you feel everything. It's like it's not calm. It's just like, yeah, like.
Hey Ryan, I got 22 minutes of drift week questions to ask Gerard about my personal car. Should I ask him right now?
Yeah, if you want, I'm fine.
Yes, do
that.
So yeah, I wanted to run like, okay, so here's the thing. It's like, I've been driving the car for a while. It's set up the way it is. I don't want to change the setup too much, but I want to do things to make it more reliable to drive longer distances and do more drift events. So I have like a pretty big list of things that I can do like mechanically and that'll help me not have issues, I believe, in the future.
Okay.
But then there's like the whole list of things I could do that are modifications that I already wanted to do. But then it's like, well, if I do all of these, now it's a completely different car, And so basically it was like, I was like, oh, maybe I should add a catch can. I don't really need a catch can, but I've never had a catch can. That might be a good thing to add. I was like, I should maybe, I'm like, it seems like good money to just get a new transmission,
Yeah.
Brand new, out of the box transmission. Like I still have my old transmission if I need it in the future, or if for some reason I was like put my old transmission back in, then there's this other transmission.
I mean, your transmission definitely currently needs some sort of attention.
No, so. I know that. That's why that's part of that. I was like, oh, like coil packs. That seems like an easy thing. You just buy them brand new. Yeah. They're never going to fail you. It feels like all of those little things are the things that like,
Absolutely.
I like valve stem seals, but I'm not.
You haven't done the valve stem seals on my car?
I don't think so. No. It only had 180,000 kilometers when I got it.
180?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Nah.
It definitely couldn't have been that.
I swear it had like 84 maybe. I don't know.
That's high as fuck.
Yeah, 180 is real high. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, no.
Because that motor was not used when I got it.
Yeah, that motor was great.
But then I also want to do the OS because I've been wanting to do that, the OS super lock diff, sorry.
Oh, right. Okay.
I should preface that. Because I've been wanting to do that the whole season, but I couldn't get it until now.
Okay.
But then I was like, raise the car, maybe take out some of the camber all around. Raise the car is like a question mark. Take out the camber is like less of a question mark. And then I don't know. Like I don't really feel like there's too much. Like it's like like have a working fuel gauge. Yeah,
fuel gauge would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. But then like I don't know. It feels like the car's pretty set up. But like maybe have a map. The other weird thing to me is like the ethanol.
Just do it, man. Especially if you go to the States, like
that's just it. Everywhere. But then there's not E everywhere, and there's
absolutely is E everywhere.
There's I don't know.
ecstasy. No, I don't know.
Yeah, because Cedric talked specifically about that because Cedric's car is E85 basically only car.
Yeah,
and they were like, like there's not. You're gonna have to bring it with you, sort of,
but I mean, in your car, it's gonna be like E20 or some shit anyway.
It's fully gonna be E20, but then I need to put I need to have the sensor. I don't know if I need to change the pump I have in the tank. It has a steel tank, so it's just gonna rip off all the rust and shit, and clog the fuel filters. I have a stock fuel filter. I want to try and keep the JZ as I do.
You don't have an additional filter in that thing?
Oh.
That's stupid.
I put the car up today, and the frame rail is literally ground through, splitting, and scabbing out against the fuel line.
Yeah. I mean that's a problem.
And the tank has all these scrapes on it, and it's it's a lot of. So anyway, I might be buying a brand new transmission for my car.
Okay.
Do you think it's worth it to get the older one? That is what I have, or somehow the newer one is slightly cheaper. Do you think I should just? Why would I not get the newer one, even though it's
get the newer one.
Bigger? It's got more sensors. Is there any advantage to me having those sensors plugged in and the ECU knowing what gear I'm in and all that shit?
I mean, all that shit's trip, man.
I don't think there's any reason not to have that, right?
Well, I mean, because it's a fucking bunch of work and a bunch of programming.
It's way more work in tuning and programming. The transmission is cheaper.
That is what?
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Cheaper to get the newest transmission.
Yeah. So the JK has the provision for rev match downshift and stuff like that, which if you had an e-throttle, you could totally have that.
That's the other thing. So should I do the e-throttle? Should I do the e-power steering? Should I do all these things that I haven't done?
All those things you should not do because it's just too much for what you want to do now. Exactly. New transmission, yes. OS Superlock. I mean, if your diff is already fucked up, you said your diff is kind of noisy right now or something like that.
There's a lot of backlash.
What I would do,
and I've wanted this LSD for
right, but the problem is if you could guarantee,
no, I know what you mean. It's anytime you change any little thing, it's a problem. That's why I'm concerned about doing the flex fuel sensor and running the E20.
But flex fuel sensor and
because I'm just it's gonna clean out my thing and just clog the fuel system.
I mean, I had it in the Aristo, never did shit.
Yeah, I know that's true. But yeah, you also had an aftermarket fuel filter though, no?
Yeah, had an aftermarket fuel filter, 3 aftermarket pumps, surge tank, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that.
But I mean, you just need an aftermarket pump that can handle E, and then a fucking fuel filter, which is $30.
I have the fuel filter.
Okay, well, fucking sensor is like $90.
Yeah, no. I kind of agree that like the E20 style is the way to go.
Like I'm biting the bullet and I'm putting E20 on the fucking Blit because it's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, man, because it's like it makes 20 pounds.
Car, bro.
Well, I mean, it's like the thing is the gas station is right by our fucking shop, and it's cheaper than fucking 94.
Until it's not, and like before the gas station, the only gas station was in North Van.
Well, I mean, I don't care. I don't need it. I'm just saying if I want to make the more power or whatever, like
that's
you know me. I don't even like E. I don't even like E, but I do like. I would like.
I love that smell, though. I love that smell.
Because I was gonna say, like my car right now.
No, you're 100% correct. If it's like if you have the sensor and the ECU is adjusting to whatever you already have in the tank, then it's a no-brainer. What does it make it a difference? Like,
yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like, yeah, I'm not
concerned. Paul's concern was like, yo,
safety.
Well, you have a turbo car,
that
you're trying to drive fucking 4,000 kilometers, and do 9 drift events, in 2 weeks. You're in Southern California and Arizona. There's no guarantee you're going to be able to get clean 93 octane. The safest thing you can do is put this flex fuel sensor in, assume you're going to run E20.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to run E20 and go from there. And I'm like, all right, that fine. Like all I'm asking for from every single like transmission, drivetrain, suspension, engine, tuning is what can I do to make this the most reliable? And what can I do beforehand to not cause me any issues on the trip?
And see, the only thing...
New transmission, anyway, continue.
Transmission, 100% I would do it because it's like, it's a
wear item that's wearing.
Well, also it's a home run. It's not like you're going to get a brand new transmission that's fucked up. And like the only thing we're doing is changing the bell housing and cutting the input shaft. We're not opening it up and modifying anything. So that's 100% do a transmission, especially because like your transmission is definitely fucked. The diff, I would say if you can be guaranteed that whoever does the work on the diff and everything is assembled properly and there's zero problems with the installation of the diff into the housing and shit, I would say yes. But to that, I would do the diff, put the diff in, drive the car a lot.
100%.
And like make sure that diff's good. And then still bring the other diff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Because like everything's honky-dory, it's fucking feels nice in this. And then you drive it 200, 300, 400 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers. And then it's like fucked.
It's
because
not
like
great.
some fucking asshole measured incorrectly or like didn't know how to do backlash or the fucking bearing's too tight, whatever it may be. It sure as hell wasn't Toyota.
Yeah.
Like what I would probably also do is just buy another stock ass diff, weld it and bring that one and then use the LSD one. You know what I mean? Just because yours right now you said is fucked. It's not like that one's going to get you home if you swap it in. You know what I
mean? It'll definitely get me home. There's just like a fair amount of free play between the ring and the pin.
And that one's never been opened. It's just been welded, right?
Yeah. I welded that one myself.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's like my most trusted diff would be an absolutely stock Toyota diff that's been welded because like it's never been,
like the bearings have never changed.
Yeah.
Like seals have never been fucked with. Like,
the pinion never been moved. Like none of that shit's been changed. So it's totally fine. It'll drive.
And I think I have the same theory as you, where it's just like the closer to the OEM you can get it, the longer it's going to last.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about getting home, a Toyota stock item will get you home.
Do you remember how loud that welded diff on my X7 was?
I could hear you from like 10 blocks away. I was like, yo, that's Kevin. Like, that was so unbelievable. You've never heard a whine this loud, Ryan? It was like
I was wearing earplugs and earmuffs.
Yeah, it was ear piercing. Like it was just unbelievable because it was just the thing was like done, but he had to come home. It was like midnight or 1 o'clock, and I was like outside, and I was like, man, I could fucking hear that car from the golf course, like on 152nd there. Holy fuck, it was so far. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, pulling over and spraying water on the rear carrier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the coils are a good idea. I mean, if you want to open it up, valve stem seals, sure, but like, does it smoke a lot? No. Like the valve stem seals are their performance item? No.
No.
Fucking leave it, man.
Yeah. Honestly, the valve stem seals need to be done more on the crown than the.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do the coils, do the wires.
Yeah, I got coil. I bought Amiyama coil packs today. But I mean, the clips have been done, but like, is it worth it, do you think, to like run back into the harness, cut the wires, and put new wires in for the coil packs?
No, but
well, let me tell you what I think. No, I'm joking.
Just don't do anything with that, but just bring the shit in case you need to.
That's true. That's a great idea. Because I mean, it has new clips, you know. Like,
yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But bring the shit in case you need to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing, is like, to me, like, it is, yeah, sure, it's me going drifting, but it's also like SerialNine.
Yeah.
Putting a face forward, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Suspension, I honestly probably wouldn't do too much if you.
No, I mean, I don't. Fine there's nothing to really do. I feel like I maybe should raise it up, like the fact that like the gas tank is so fucked, the frame rails are splitting.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I got to drive it that far, and then also like that was one of the things I wanted to do this year, was like I wanted to take out the camber a bit, because it's like running half the tire and then having to flip it halfway through the event is getting old a bit.
I mean, I feel like you just need bigger flares.
You know what?
I know. I don't, but that's way more work than I'm willing to admit for this. So I think I have to raise it and get rid of the camber. I'd like to lower it and get rid of the camber, but like.
Yeah, I mean, do we not have other flares?
It's not so much the flare; it's like inside of the flare isn't high enough, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, currently,
it's like could I weld metal flares on, but then have to like cut? You know, like, is that? I don't know if I have that much time. Or
yeah.
And then I got
February.
Yeah, February 18th is like the first event, so. February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'm leaving on Valentine's Day. 15th.
I'm literally just trying to say things so people know that I'm still here.
Are you?
Other than that, I think I lost a few of the other ones, but they all sound pretty good. I just wouldn't change a whole lot as far as. I would still probably do it.
It's like an equal balance, because like I don't want to change a bunch of stuff because it's like the car I'm very experienced with, but it's also like, well, I should change all these things to make it better at what I'm trying to do with it, you know?
Yeah, I would just do the reliability stuff, honestly.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do.
And that's the thing too, when you're talking about like the reason I'm doing on my cars, because like, like on cold nights, my car makes 20 pounds of boost.
Okay, so is it like,
sorry, what?
Tell your story. No, tell your story. And I had like,
oh yeah, because I was racing Alex Lee and then I kept hitting boost cut, and I was like, well, fuck this boost cut. Like, I just want, because I'm maxing out the turbo, whatever the turbo is going to make is what I want the turbo to make. But like,
yeah,
if it's just on that kind of like a little bit of an unsafe edge, and all I got to do is run like fucking 4 liters or whatever of E just to like give it that extra window of safety, I'd probably rather do that than lower the boost down to like 18 pounds. You know what I mean? It fucking rips when it's cold and like 8 and 20 pounds. Like, it's fast as fuck. So I'm not like gonna go backwards on that. So anyways.
So yeah, my one major concern, if not whatever, currently, and it's like a bit of a issue to come up with the solution, would be like sort of like the whole tire size, rim size thing, where it's just like I pigeonholed myself.
I pigeoned my hole. Sorry.
Yeah. I pigeoned my hole here.
You have to run a 225 on the front, is my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's just it. Exactly. And then like, so basically I'm trying to get the last pair of Sawbucks rebuilt. They're like a 4.5 inch inner.
Can I ask you one thing though? Can you not build a 17-inch front wheel?
For what or how? No. What do you mean?
Aren't your Sawbucks, can they not be built into a 17? Because like you're stepping all the lips.
Yeah,
because I know you have some other ones that are set.
No, the other ones I have are 18-inch face.
Oh, yeah. But I was like, fuck, because what I would recommend on an Altezza.
But then that's rebuilding both inner and outer.
Yeah.
Of the front.
I mean, it's hindsight.
Which is
now,
possible.
But what I would say is because you want to run a 215 and a 215/40 is impossible to get in a good tire, but a 215/45/17 is not impossible to get and pretty common on an S chassis. To remember back in the day, you run 215/45 or 215/40, whatever front, and then 235/40 rear, 18. So it's 17, 18 stagger. It's much easier to find a 215/45/17 in a good tire than it is.
Well, my kind of plan was to just like run a 225/18 maybe.
Yeah, for sure. But then that's a huge tire. You're going to have to raise the shit out of the car.
That's sort of my plan. Because it's like, I've boxed myself into running one tire on one very specific width of front wheel.
Yeah.
And that's what fucked me up at Villains. Where it's like, I couldn't run this other wheel and tire that I had that fit on the car. And I drove hundreds of kilometers there on that tire. But then when I got there, I couldn't drift on that tire. So I'm trying to like maybe have a rear tire solution that I could run with a spacer, but will also work as a substitute front tire until I needed or could find something, you know? So I feel like that's like another thing that I need, where it's like a tire that I can run on the front, but I could also put onto the rear. And like right now, the options are, because of the inner barrel, are like it's like a 9.5 plus 32 or a 10 like plus 12. And it's like, man, that 9.5 plus 32 is a lot on the front, and it's going to look shit. And you know what I mean? It's going to look real shit on the rear, but then the 10 plus 12 might be too much for the front, you know?
Yeah, it's going to limit your angle too.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm just like, well, are either of those
Neither of those are going to work. No, because the 9.5 32. That doesn't make any sense, man. 9.5 32.
I mean, I'll give you the
It's going to be a less offset than that.
It wasn't great though. I was just like, whoa, okay.
It might be a 20.
Maybe it was a 22.
Because you take out half an inch from plus 10 and it becomes it should be a plus 12. It doesn't even make sense. Those two options don't even make sense.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that I got my numbers wrong.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, a 9.5. I mean, if you're just throwing sort of like the coolness factor.
I mean, I don't want to. That's the problem. It's like we're SerialNine. I'm not throwing the coolness factor anywhere.
No, you're just lowering it. You're on the scale of coolness versus function. You're lowering the coolness, increasing the function. So in Gerard's world, a 225.
Okay, that's super weird. All my messages between Rare Spec and me are gone.
They'll load back up, I'm sure.
Since November 8th. November 8th is
fucking Android ass phone.
Like there's not
you know what my biggest worry is, you guys?
What's that?
Became the best podcast, and it's because I haven't said any real things for 20 minutes.
That's not true. That's not going to be true.
People will be like, oh shit, this would be actually a really good podcast if Ryan just shut the fuck up and let Gerard and Kevin talk about building cars and not like dumbing it down and sanding the edges off of everything. Anyway.
So what your car, in my opinion, would need to do would run a 225 on the front and a 235 on the rear. I mean, or I guess you could just run 225.
245 maybe, yeah, on the rear.
No, 235 is fine. A lot of good 235s. But
it's going to be running the like Bergera or whatever. Like it's all a
fucking good ass tire.
That's what I mean. It's all Volino tires, the whole tribe.
Yeah. So, and yeah, you'd have to run a 225 on the front because they don't make a 215. So in my world, that would be a 9.5, 225 is just not a good combo in my world, but I mean, it's functional. It's fine. It probably works great. It's, however, going to make you definitely have to raise that car at least 1 inch in the front, at least 1 inch in the front.
I'm almost okay with it. But yeah, I don't want to. But
I mean, that's also like saying, hey, raise it an inch, try it, and it's still not going to work. So it's actually going to be one of those things like, when you cut the bumper for the intercooler and fucking take it off 10 times when you could have just cut it once to give it all the clearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even on the Aristo, dude, a 225 for me was the absolute max that I could run. But that was at that height. Like that
car was absolutely fucking shit can too, though.
It's pretty low, yeah.
Yeah, I believe
it's like scraping the side skirt the whole time.
The OEM side skirt. Yeah. Or OEM height side skirt.
Like it was already low, and then you're like, I'm gonna radius the car 25 mil.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like Catson's car is fucking underground.
Yeah.
That thing is like full non-function style. It just looks sick. But anyways, 225, 9.5, 235, 10.5, or whatever. You're building 10s or something for the back, or 10.5s or something.
I mean, the rear's already done. This is just like that's the thing. It's like the wheel that I'm talking about right now will hopefully only be a rear, but could be a front if it needs to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fine. So is it going to be a 10? I think it should be a 10 then.
So it'd be 10 plus 12 though, but that's, I think, pretty big.
Yeah, because if it's primarily going to be a rear, it should be closer to a rear, but compromised as a front.
Yes. Whereas my current rear can't be a front.
Will not free. Yeah.
Be a front. But even my rebuilt 18-inch fronts that I had to put on the front to drive 2 villains, like the minute I had 10 degrees of steering angle, they just started to rub. They work fine going down the highway.
But what I was going to say is, why do you need an alternative set of front wheels?
In case the exact same thing happened to me that happened to me already, where you blow out a front tire, and now you need to put something in the front.
Oh, okay.
Or what happens when the inner lip is wrecked, or I can't find this very specific front tire that I need. Or whatever.
I mean. You remove the specific front tire size, and now you just fit any fucking front tire on.
I agree. And that's hopefully what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
And you remove the fucking 10 degrees of camber on the front, and you alleviate half the problems of why the shit happened in the first place.
Exactly. So maybe this trying to size this tire to be a front is irrelevant if I just raise the car and move the 9.5 degrees of camber.
Exactly. Yeah, because to try to fit a rear wheel on the front in an emergency, I think it is what it is, man. Emergency situation, raise the car up, put a spacer on the front so it clears, put a rear on the front, you're done. You can drive the car. You can't drift the car like that.
No.
But if you destroy a wheel, fucking put another wheel on. Don't try to take one of the rears and put it on the front, because it's just not going to work. Just bring another set of shitty fucking 18 by 9.5 fronts or something.
But then I got to bring 2 extra fronts for the net. That doesn't make any sense either. It's bring a wheel, make your car a rear can fit on the front. It doesn't have to be so fitted that your rear can't fit on the front. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't think that's unless you're now you're building an actual, just a straight up whatever car, then all the wheels are
trying to drive 4,000 kilometers or way more than that. And drifted 9 events in 2 weeks. So it's I'm willing to sacrifice some Serial 9-ness for the ability to actually make it.
I guess what I'm saying is, if you're not having faith that your front wheels, not tires, but front wheels won't last the trip, then that's not very fucking dope. You know what I mean?
Well, we can't put that part.
I mean, if the tire goes out, then the wheel doesn't last, apparently.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's only because of that camber.
Because the camera, and what happened? Did it lock up or something? Why was it completely fucking shredded to bits?
I feel like it's because the tire walked out because of all the camber. So the inner lip is completely on the ground. And then maybe I tried to stop too quickly. If I would have let it slow down completely at its own natural course, maybe it wouldn't have flat spotted. But it feels like the minute you hit the brakes, the wheel stops and the tire that's no longer attached doesn't.
I mean, you could have e-braked it.
I mean, there's a million things I could have done in this emergency fucking
I know. I'm
situation.
just saying. Like the main problem here, Kevin, is that you're not running work wheels on the front, so your fucking lips like disintegrate in 2 seconds.
And then what?
Okay, so what? You don't want to put works on the front?
I love that we're trying to get this work sponsorship back. Let's get that. I'm on board. Keep going.
Yeah.
But you know that you could drive on an inner, like if it was a multi-piece work wheel, you could drive on that inner, like from here to fucking your house.
No, I know. Like I've tacoed the work wheel.
Yeah, I know. And that's why they're fucking the best.
Yeah. And that's why Buddy, who was trying to sell you those SSRs or whatever they were with the OG lips, wanted so much money because he's like, they're completely OG lips. Like,
yeah, but they're also SSRs. They're not works. So I don't like really give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's not like SSR lips or anything to write home about. They were never that great. They don't have that like full double-edged like tube on the inside. You know what I mean? Yeah. I guess my whole thing is the fact that you're running those wheels anyways, it kind of is like you might as well just have the front wheels be the front wheels and the rear wheels be the rear wheels. And if you somehow encounter that situation where you fuck your car up, then you just get some wheels somewhere at that point. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying, I should just buy brand new work wheels and not run the Yankees?
Of course. I mean, I have some 18 by 9.5 and 10.5 wheels that you can run. For sale right now.
I don't even think they really go with the look.
I mean, they'd probably look pretty sick on that car.
Try it out.
Let's just try it out. Yeah.
Photo shoot.
Yeah, because I was honestly like, if I get the snows mounted, I was going to take the tires off of those wheels and put them onto the MAEs. And then just basically put the car in the garage on the MAEs. Like, obviously you can't like drive it, but like, I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably not going to be driving the car that much after anyways. So anyways, that's irrelevant.
Hey, you know what? This was our 60th episode.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. Good job, everyone. My gift to you is half an hour of me barely saying shit. All right, everyone. Thanks.
A gift to us all.
How dare you? I'm never doing that again. Okay. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for being around for 60 episodes. I hope this was great. I had fun.
Yeah, we all had fun. This is the last one. So goodbye.
Oh God, I had so many more questions.
I'm never doing another one.
I gotta say something. Yo, if you're gonna ask me stupid fucking questions on Instagram, just don't.
Who's doing that?
That's definitely the way to encourage people to ask.
Yeah, so ask me those questions, and then.
Oh man, there's so much wrong with this case. So I posted that BBDG thing, that big body drift gang, with Catson's car and like the 3GS in the back.
Yeah,
This guy asked me, "What's the wheels and wheel specs for the 2GS up front?" It's like, A, it's not my car. B, I don't know. C, it's not a 2GS. Like, delete. Like, I'm not going to delete. I'm just going to be like, sorry, man, I don't know. But like,
oh, that's the Gerard. Okay, well, ask me stupid questions. Ask Kevin mildly intelligent questions. I think that's what we said last time. And then like consider asking Gerard a question, but then send it to me anyway to make sure that it gets asked. Okay, well, thanks for being around for 60 episodes. I think next time we'll have a guest. That'll be nice.
Yeah, that'll be good.
We're gonna have all the guests because we always say that, but we never do.
Well, Kevin's lined some up, which is very exciting. He's lined up one. Gerard, you have to line up someone else. Or do you just want me to try when it won't go very well?
I think Ryan should just try.
You can try. I could try too. I just don't know what to talk about with these guests.
But do you know what to talk about with us?
But it doesn't matter because it's just us.
You know what
I'm saying?
I finally figured out Gerard's secret why he never wants to talk to these guests about coming on.
He's just shy.
He's shy. Yeah.
He's a shy guy. All right,
we get it. Shy Gerard.
Okay,
All right,
Bye,
guys.
Shy Gerard. Bye.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, everybody.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Jeez.
I appreciate you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Serial Podcast 9.